Hello everyone and welcome to today's session. My name is Mark Olesen and I am the Partner Channel Manager here in ClickLearn, and I will guide you through a short introduction of who is ClickLearn today. Then I will hand it over to my Customer Care Manager who will be presenting ClickLearn in the live demonstrations. And then we will end today's session in how to become either a ClickLearn partner or how you can become a ClickLearn customer. If we shortly touch base about who is ClickLearn. So ClickLearn is founded back in 2010 with the mission of creating training materials and delivering user adoptions across all your business applications. We are today located with a headquarter in Copenhagen, Denmark. We also have offices in Florida, United States, Ahmedabad, India, and Perth, Australia. When it comes to the customer side of ClickLearn, we have customers in more than 44 different countries today. If we look at the amount of users and consumers that ClickLearn have, we today have more than 8,100 authors creating learning instructions with ClickLearn every day. And we have more than 100,000 end users consuming ClickLearn materials from any device every day. If we shortly touch base on how to describe ClickLearn, there are 3 words I want to touch base on. ClickLearn can simply record, produce, and publish all your learning materials for you. If we deep dive into the record part of it, so ClickLearn is not a screen recorder. ClickLearn actually have the capability of understanding your business application, means that we only capture the recording when you interact with the system. So when there is a feature and a function and you want to execute on that, you simply just click through it and ClickLearn capture what you click through. That means you can now save 80% of your time in creating learning instructions because you no longer have to edit all your mistakes or the errors or what happens on the screen, because we only capture what you click through. So with one recording and one process, you can now start producing ClickLearn materials. When it comes to the produce part of ClickLearn, ClickLearn produce learning instructions in multiple formats. We actually deliver 7 different learning formats in a single source file. So we produce learning materials in Word, PowerPoints, PDF, HTML pages, and 3 different types of videos that you can either show or interact with live. We also have a live avatar. That means we have a help desk ticket embedded inside your system. So if you get lost in a process and cannot remember how to complete the process, you can always request help from our live avatar embedded into your business application, and he will make sure that you complete the process correctly. ClickLearn also translate all your instructions. So we deliver more than 45 different languages and translating all your videos as well into more than 45 different languages with video narrations, and we have more than 145 digital voices to pick between. And last, we have what we call replay. We all know that we get updated versions of our business applications every day. That means our learning instructions becomes outdated super fast. But ClickLearn have solved that problem for you, because with our replay function, you can now replay any of your learning instructions as soon as a new release are being published, and then your latest learning materials is updated on the latest version of the business applications that you use. So how is all this consumed and where is it published? So with ClickLearn, it's up to you. You can decide where you want to store your learning materials. But a part of the ClickLearn package is that ClickLearn hosts it for you. So ClickLearn includes the ClickLearn Content Cloud, where your learning instructions is now available 24/7 and you can consume it from any device. We also building in learning analytics, so we can actually measuring on how the learning materials is received, consumed, and we can also collect feedbacks and ratings about all your learning materials. That was short about how ClickLearn actually works, how we can record, produce, and publish content. I will now hand it over to our Customer Care Manager, who will be giving us a live presentation in how easily this is being made.
Well, hello and welcome to this demonstration of ClickLearn. My name is Peter Højlund Løvskov and I am the Customer Success Manager here at ClickLearn. Now I'm going to demonstrate to you how you can easily do recordings of your processes in Business Central. But I'm actually going to do it a little bit backwards. So I'll start out by showing you an end result of what a learning portal could look like, how your end users can engage with it. And then afterwards, we will go into the application itself, do a recording on Business Central, and then see how you can engage with this from Business Central. So to start out with, here is an example of a learning portal. Now this one here is something that I created for Microsoft Teams. The fun fact of it was that I was giving a task some time ago on if you only have one day to do documentation within, how much can you create for Microsoft Teams? So the end result is this. Of course, it was created with ClickLearn. So I have created a learning portal that is completely web-based. So that means that as long as you have access to a browser, you can view the material. It's actually created in a responsive design, so it doesn't matter if your end users are viewing it from a mobile device, tablet, or a computer. Secondly, it is completely searchable, so I can easily find whatever I'm looking for by either typing a couple of letters or the entire word. ClickLearn will instantly give me suggestions of what words could I be looking for, and at the same time references to any recordings or work instructions that I've created for that word within my learning portal. Now this learning portal here is created so it's with 8 different groups. So I divided my recordings up in 8 categories. And within these 8 categories, I have created multiple recordings. Here, if we go into one of these, you can see a work instructions on how to share content in meetings, in a meeting in Teams. First of all, you get an HTML page here with the instruction on how to do this. First of all, start up a meeting, and then what content could you be shared, a little additional information on how do you start sharing something. At the same time, you can see here I have access to different formats. And this is because with ClickLearn, we support the different learning styles of your end users. I'll get into each of these 7 formats as we go into the recording, but just notice that from a web page, you have access to all formats. Now here in the bottom part, you may see something called content. If I click on that, you get the different groupings up. Now if we go back out here to the front page and we click on the same one, you will see that the inscriptions here in bold are actually matching up with the different groups that I created. And the non-bold part is actually the work instructions that I have created underneath each of my groups. So as you can see here, within one day of work, I actually created a learning portal for Microsoft Teams consisting of about 20 different work instructions divided up in 8 different categories. But not only that, I actually also replayed this because ClickLearn has this very special feature called replay, where we can take an initial recording and then have ClickLearn automatically recapture everything on top of a different UI language. So in this case here, I have the little globus because I did this one also in Danish and in German. We look at the German one, you'll see that my entire learning portal translates into German. Everything that I'm looking at, if we go back to the same recording, don't translate, is translated into German. Every single recording and even the parts that I added down here has also been localized into German. So as for an end user's sake, all you do is go in, find the work instruction and the learning portal in the desired language, and then you choose what learning format of your choice. Now there is one last feature here I want to show you. This is the download full learning portal. What this gives me is a PDF document consisting of every single recording and work instructions I have within my learning portal. First of all, it's categorized, indexed here, and then second of all, I have all my different work instructions underneath. And of course, it's an active index, so if I click on schedule a meeting, it will take me directly to that. So this is an example because of course everything that you're viewing here can be customized so it has the look and feel that of your corporate identity. So that means that now I've set this up in my colors with my corporate name, but of course when you get this you can choose yourself. You want your icons in 2D like I like them, or if you want them in 3D multiple colors, completely up to you. Every single thing will have the look and feel after we've set up your template that you desire. So again, view this as an example of what you could deliver. So this here is of course an example of a learning portal for teams. But as I said, we're going to do this demonstration on Business Central. So if we take it over to Business Central for a second, you will see that we have a little thing called Insights, Learning, and Onboarding. This is an insight help that we're capable of adding into your Business Central. This actually gives us the ability to go in here and click on the assist. It will bring up a little friend up here called ClickLearn. And as I click on him, I get the the learning portal that I created for Business Central directly inside the application. So now you have the ability to deliver the learning portal and the learning material right where your end users need them in the application itself. So if I go in here on the onboarding and we see one of the work instructions that are created for Business Central, you see that it's set up exactly like the one we just viewed. And again, we have the 7 different formats and a little friend called Assist. So when I click on him, he will now, on top of the live system, guide me through the process of how to add a new customer into BC. And this here is not a video, it's actually on top of the live system guidance. So not only do we get the 7 different learning formats to understand and learn the material and learn the processes, but we also get this little friend here that will guide us on top of the live system in those times where we need a quick refreshment of how do we do this process, and he will now guide us through it. Now, he knows exactly when I'm going along to the next step, so I don't need to tell him to progress to the next step. He will automatically move along as the system updates. And when I'm all satisfied, I know now where I am and I can continue. I can, of course, always just turn him off and continue in the live system as desired. So this was a quick introduction of how do your end users get to engage with ClickLearn. So first of all, you can create a learning material that is delivered from a web page, one URL. You just choose yourself which learning format you want to choose from, and then secondly, what language do you want it within, but also make it available directly within the application itself. So first of all, we need a business application, and in this case here, Business Central. Secondly, we need ClickLearn. So ClickLearn is a click once application. There is no system requirements, there is no server integrations. The only requirement actually we have is that you run this from a Windows OS. And that's it. Download this click once application. It's about 50-60 megabytes large to the computer of the author. So only the ones that are going to be creating the documentation need ClickLearn Studio. Everybody else, access to a browser. And then when you click on New up here to start a recording, ClickLearn will now present you with a view of multiple icons. Now each of these icons, they represent a business-specific connector. So the brains behind ClickLearn is actually these connectors because they are built on So these connectors are actually the brains behind ClickLearn because they are built on templates that are set up so they understand that specific business application. And as you can see, we have a wide range of connectors for Dynamics 365, but we're also cross-platform application, meaning that if you have a process that takes you from one Dynamics application and maybe into an Office application, well, then we can follow the process there because we also have connectors for the Office applications. And that means for both on-prem versions and the web versions. We have for the entire Power Platform. We have for Teams. We have for custom web applications, and the same goes for Windows applications. So about 95% chance of whatever process you need to have documented within your organization, we can help you do that with ClickLearn. In this case here, I will do this on BC. So I'll click on BC. I will get a view of multiple languages. These are the ones that I've set up for my installation. So these are the ones that I typically do demonstrations within. We of course support all the different UI languages of Microsoft. So whatever language you would need to do documentation within, we can help you. In this case here, I will do it on English. And as I click on yes, ClickLearn will go into the background. It will take me to the business system, and it's now ready to do the recording. The only thing that I need to be aware of is a little green rectangle that will appear as I hover over the user interface. So as you can see here, I have the little green rectangle with the business central symbol in the upper right corner. Now all I do is simply just follow the process that I want to record. Now in this case here, I can go into edit a customer, and again notice that all I do is wait for the green rectangle. Now if this should take me outside Business Central, for instance to the Windows application, you will see here in the bottom part of the screen, it will automatically show me the Windows icon. That could also be up here in the top part, where it automatically shows me what I'm engaging with. And as soon as I go back to the application, it knows that now I'm back in Business Central. So all I do as an author is follow the green rectangle where the process needs to take me, and then ClickLearn will take care of the rest. Anything that I interact with, that goes for any customizations, any drop-down menu, context menu, any text that I delete or alter, that will be captured. Now in this case here, I'll just stop the recording. It will take me to store this. I can store this on my local drive or wherever I want to. In this case here, we can call this edit a customer. Just call it edit a customer and save it. So now I have a process called edit a customer. I have a path that I can see where I stored it, and I'm actually going to go ahead and produce this right away. When I produce this, ClickLearn will instantly give me the 7 different formats. It will create 4 different types of written instructions. It will create 3 different types of videos, where 2 of them are interactive. And as I click on OK here and on View, you will see that I now have access to the different formats. Now, as we saw in the beginning, from the web page, I actually have access to, links to all the different formats. So now you can see that I have the process we just captured with the title that I just created. The written instructions has already been created for me, perfectly cropped screen captures with the marking of the area of interest. Everything like we just went through it on the screen. We also created a Word document. This is typically used for documentation purposes. So here we've added in a header. It captures, in this case, the initials of the authors. So here's my initials, the title, my corporate name, and my corporate identity, again with my company, with my logo and my colors. Again, since everything is built on templates, it will have your corporate identity shining through all the material. It will even be changed the font style, so it has that font style of your choice, the size of the thumbnails, the marking, color, etc. Everything can be customized so it has the look and feel that you desire. The PDF will be a conversion of the words, so they will look alike, just different formats. If you're going to do classroom training, internal meetings, maybe even or tutorial training, you're most likely going to be viewing the process on a large screen. So in this case, we've altered the PowerPoint slide deck just a little bit. So here you can see you have the full screen capture, still with your corporate identity, still with the title and the instructional sentences and the marking of the area of interest. So now you can easily go about the process as you would on a live screen. Everything's pre-created by ClickLearn. Now, these are the 4 different types of written instructions: the HTML page, PDF, Word, and PowerPoint. But we also created 3 different videos, and this is because we know that your end users have different ways of learning. So some people, they are satisfied with a white pager. Other people, they want a video that gives them the process visually, but also auditorially, so you get the narration of it. So we created the Show Me video. This here is a process, it's a walkthrough of the process we just captured.
Click on the navigation menu item Customers. Click on the link in cell, number with the value 10,000. Click on the field number. Click on the field name. Click on the field address. Click on the field address too.
As you can see, the cursor is moving seamlessly through the videos. So even though I was fumbling around with the mouse showing you the connectors, we only captured the part where we interacted with. So I have a seamlessly flowing video. I even have these high quality digital voices to narrate out each of the instructional sentences. We have at the moment about 140 different voices covering about 45 different languages, male, female voices, and different access to the major languages. The one we just heard here is Sally, one of the American females. But you can see there is a large variety of digital voices, so you can choose that one that you like the best. At the end of the material, you also have the feedback option here where you can go in and rate it and give an instant comment. This, I will show you where that is being captured at the end, but this shortens the distance between your end users and you as an author. The second video I've got here is a try me video. Try me video is going to run pretty much like the previous one, and then again.
Click on the navigation menu item Customers.
I'll have the narration. I'll have the written instruction. So I'll just turn off the narration from now on, turn off the sound. But what I don't have is it progressing to the next step. So now I need to go in here and perform what is being required of me. I need to go to the customers. I need to go to the one with the value 10,000. Now, if I, for some reason, wanted to try something else, it will not progress to the next step until I go to that specific field. So this gives me a sandbox field to the solution. I get to try the process, see the next step as it would happen in the live system, but I'm not capable of tampering with any valuable data. So especially if you're very kinesthetic and you need to feel and try the processes on your own skin with your hands, well then here you have that feature. You can do that, but without tampering or changing anything in a system, in a live system. Very, very strong feature in my opinion. And again, the feedback option. The last video I've got here is a test me video, and it's going to run on the same simulation as the previous one. So I'll turn off the sound from the beginning. It will give me the narration of each of the instructional sentences. It will give me the instruction sentences. What it's not going to do is show me where it is. It's still going to give me control of the cursor. So now I need to go ahead and perform the step here. Now, let's say for some reason I cannot read customers up here and I don't know where it is, and I'm clicking a little bit around here saying it's got to be where. Well, it will tell me initially this is where it is and score me wrong. I'll just quickly run through the process here of going into this process, and as you can see at the end, I get a test result. This here is set up by default for an 80% passing grade with 5 attempts. Of course, if your corporate standards are different for passing tests, it's also customizable. It's also SCORM compliant, so any material you create with ClickLearn, you can reuse that in a learning management system. So we can build a zip file that you can upload to your LMS accordingly to the SCORM format of your LMS, and that way you can reuse it. Very, very strong feature also. So here you have the 7 different learning formats and how they can support the different learning styles of your end users, and it's giving you directly out of the box. All you do is show the process, ClickLearn takes care of the rest. But one thing is to have a process described as the one we are seeing here. Click on the navigation menu item, customers, etc. Another thing is to have the full value of a word process. And to do that, we have the editor. So I'll just close this one down, go into the editor, and in here I can easily set it up so I can structure it. I can add more value to it. In this case here, I can go and say I want a chapter with the objective. I want to add a note in there stating what is the objective for this process. And anything that I add in here manually, that will of course also be narrated in the videos. And you can easily see here, anything that I add, I can see on my left-hand side, and I have a preview pane so I instantly see how this will take out in the final formats. I can even go in and say, well, by the way, I don't want to be focusing on one specific customer, so I can right-click, say choose any row. ClickLearn will then not only change my written instruction, but also the marking of the area of interest for me. I can group several steps together. So for instance here, I have 3 steps taken from the same page. Well, then I can take 2 of them saying, these 2 here, I would like to have as a numbered list. So I'll group them as a numbered list. So now I have a numbered list. Or I can say, well, I would like to have these 2 steps here as a bulleted list. Uncheck that one, check the bulleted list. And now I have a bulleted list. So very easily I can go in and alter this, and in the middle of a grouping I can add in additional information. That could be remember something and add that to the next step. So now we'll say remember some information, click on the name field. I can even add in a bookmark stating that when we go from the page of the number of account and I want to know what page we're looking at, well then I can get a full screen capture stating that this is the form that we're looking into and these are the areas that we need to focus in on. So at any point in time I want to edit anything, add more value, restructure something, I can do that with the editor. When I'm all satisfied, I'll simply just save it, and yes, now I have a process available. So, if I want to deliver this in multiple languages, I mentioned earlier that we have a replay function where ClickLearn can recapture all of this for me. So, by changing my UI language here over to Danish, and then going back to my process, selecting replay, ClickLearn will now first of all give me a box telling me, be aware that you cannot touch the mouse or the keyboard after selecting yes here. I want to do this on Danish, and as I click on OK, ClickLearn will go into the background, will turn on the replay function, and of course you cannot see me not touching the mouse or the keyboard, but you will notice that the cursor will jump through the processes instead of moving seamlessly through the screen. So here it jumps up to D365, which is customer in Danish. It will move down to my customer number 10,000, and automatically it captures all of the steps here. So while I have created my first initial recording, set it up how I wanted to in the editor, I can now hit replay, go out, grab a cup of coffee, and then ClickLearn will automatically update all of this. Now if I click on the edit button here, so when I get into the editor here and I change over to the Danish version, you can see that everything has now been localized into Danish. I now have my written instructions in Danish. Everything is still aligned and looking exactly like we did it in the original recording, but now localized into Danish, except for the parts that I put in manually. Now these parts here, I of course need to have added in manually, or I can rely on the built-in Azure translation services. So in this case here, I'll simply just click on translate. I'll do this from English and into Danish. And then ClickLearn will automatically translate the manually written instructions. And now I can go ahead and produce this one into English and Danish. And in this short amount of time, ClickLearn has now produced my 7 different formats into 2 different versions. So now I have everything in Danish and in English. And if I go to the Danish one, you will see that everything is now being translated, and instantly I have this here. And if I go to the video of the try me or the show me here,
mål. Brug denne vejledning til at redigere en kunde.
I also have the video in Danish now. So this is how fast and efficiently you can go about creating documentation, deliver it in 7 different formats, and then also have it localized into multiple languages. Now, when you've created all your different work instructions, you want to group them into different books. Very easily, you just go up here on books, you create a book, and as you can see down here, I have created multiple books. I've added in work instructions that I've simply just dragged over, and now I have a book with these different recordings in them. I have at the same time done the same thing with a shelf. The shelf is what we call the learning portal. So I went up here on the shelf, and as you can see down here, I now have a book for Business Central, a shelf for Business Central, where I've added in the central onboarding. That is the one that we also saw before inside the business system. Now, of course, you can store this anywhere that you want to, but you can also have us host it for you. So by having created your learning portal, clicking on publish, it will be hosted on Microsoft Azure underneath our content cloud. You will get some additional features. You can now add in tracking. You can set up content federation so you can choose who is allowed to view the material for you by adding a username and a password to enter it. But that gives you the benefits of actually seeing how are your end users engaging with the material. So here I have a heat map of where have my end users been viewing this material, what have they looked at, and I can even get user data all the way down to user level. So now I can see, well, how did my end user B do in his test me, or did he see the entire show me or stop after 10 seconds? I get the feedback from the material that I showed you there where I could rate it and give instant feedback. That's also being captured here. So now I can react upon it and answer back. Have I used a password to get in there? I've locked it down. Well, then I would get the username who has written the feedback here. And since the learning portal was completely searchable, top searches are also being showed in here. So now I can see, have I delivered what my end users are looking for? If not, go in, do the recording, add it to a book or to the learning portal, hit publish, and then it will be updating the URL instantly, and your end users now have access to the new material. So all in all, this is how fast and how easy you can create learning material, have it delivered in multiple languages, and even get on-screen live guidance of your material directly within the business application.
Hello, everybody. My name is Rick McCutcheon. I'm a Dynamics 365 MVP, and this is a partner talk today with Tom Doran of Innovia. Tom, introduce yourself and tell the people a little bit about Innovia.
Sure. Good morning, Rick. Glad to be here with you. Innovia has been in business for 35 years. The last 20 years, we've focused exclusively with what used to be Navision and then NAV and now Business Central. We're a team of about 60 people located in the central U.S., but we have customers around the world and certainly coast to coast in North America.
So let's talk a little bit about your Business Central practice. And, we're in a little bit difficult times here. Do you find that, business is still pretty good? Companies are still moving forward with these projects?
Obviously, Rick, it's a very difficult time for a lot of companies. Innovia has been a horizontal partner for many years. And so because we have a diverse customer base, we're actually quite busy, even though we do see some segments of our customer base suffering greatly.
It's interesting. Before, we got into all of this, every Business Central partner was crazy busy. And, I'm more of a CRM guy, and, my network's more of the CRM people, and the CRM people were out looking for Business Central resources or partners to help them. So, once we pull out of this, I think Innovia is probably in, as they say, the right place at the right time.
It feels that way, and we're very grateful to be there.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about your ClickLearn practice. I'm very involved with ClickLearn, and I think it's an extremely great product. So talk a little bit about how Innovia got involved with ClickLearn and some of the use cases that you're currently using it for.
Sure. Really, it happened almost by accident. We were at a directions conference 3 or 4 years ago, but we were in the middle of a very large implementation that was going to require a fairly extensive set of documentation. And wandering around directions, we ran into the team from ClickLearn. We were favorably impressed with their solution, and it appeared to be a good foundation to help us solve the issue in this one project. But as we got into the solution and as we worked with the ClickLearn team more, it became clear that this really had much broader applications. And now we've really evolved to a point where the ClickLearn documentation is included in every new project work order. And it's up to the customer to tell us to take it out, because we just believe there's such benefit to the end users in having this solution that we think we owe it to them to make sure we include it.
And for those listeners who aren't familiar with ClickLearn, it's an application that lets us build learning materials and support materials in a very rapid method, and I guess in many different languages and formats. So from a partner perspective, how much time does an application like ClickLearn save you on a project?
Well, so your initial learning, it might take you 10 or 20 hours to get up to speed, right? You can get it in, you can plug it in, it's almost instant, but it takes a little bit of practice as you create your first set or two of documentation. Once you're good at that, it's really about just planning your script, no different than you would plan your training class that you're going to hold for the customer, but then walk through your script and record it using ClickLearn. And the benefit of that is that you get several formats automatically. You're going to get a PowerPoint that'll help you run your in-person class. You'll get a recording with a couple of tutorial options that you can leave behind for the customer for future use. And then if you decide, you can also embed this inside of their Business Central implementation, and it becomes another help file resource. So we think there's just a lot of power and a lot of benefit to help customers really take ownership of their solution.
So when I interviewed some of their customers at the CRM UG Summit, the answer when I asked them how much time did it save you building the materials was usually, well, we never would have built this level of quality of materials in the old way, right? Because we'd have to produce our PowerPoints and our written and our video all separately.
That's for certain. We'd have never done the video, and the video has tons of power, particularly with consolidation and expansion across the globe in many of our customers. The idea that you can do multi-language, I mean, that's priceless. In the old days, and we thought we were pretty good at it, we'd give you customized screenshots inside your Word document.
Yeah. And it's interesting too, when I was talking to the guys at ClickLearn, they say another use case is when you're doing the upgrade. You can go and record the old system so you have sort of your start point, and anybody coming on the projects can watch the videos and see the old system working.
Oh, and I thought you were headed somewhere else. The other thing is that you can also, ClickLearn will tell you where you need to update your documentation. So you don't have to redo the documentation from scratch. You play the video, and then ClickLearn says, oh, hey, there appears to be a change in this upgrade. You need to re-record this section.
Yeah, we call it the magic at ClickLearn. Well,
That's
Tom,
right.
Tom, thanks for your time. We look forward to talking to you in the future more about Innovia and what you're doing with ClickLearn. But good luck in the future as Business Central continues to grow, and hopefully your ClickLearn practice as well.
Sounds great, Rick. Thanks. Take care.
So thank you to customer care for that wonderful presentation. I now want to touch base a bit about the benefits that we just saw. So what are the benefits that ClickLearn actually delivers? So if we look into it, there are 3 benefits I want to touch base on here today: IT and support, employees, and management. So with ClickLearn, we have customers examples where they have reduced everything from 30 up to 80% in help desk ticket service, because they now can deliver multiple formats for their employees in the local language. They can simply reduce workload in help desk ticket services. When it comes to employees, it's always hard for employees to adapt into new systems. But with ClickLearn and with our live avatar, we now make sure that people can master the software immediately. And if they cannot remember it, we still make sure that they complete the process correctly because of our live assistants. And then when it comes to management, it's always a risk when you implement larger business applications, ERP projects, CRM, and so forward. But with ClickLearn, we simply reduce that risk because we make sure that there is learning materials available in the local languages and live assistance and replay functions to keep it consistent as well. ClickLearn deliver high process accuracy and reduce now the risk of implementing new ERP projects or CE projects. I promised I will touch base about our pricing. So ClickLearn is a subscription model. There are 4 parameters we need to touch base on. To configure price, we will need to know which platforms are you actually using. How many authors will you have, so how many will be creating learning instructions, and how many consumers will actually be consuming the materials that you will be producing with ClickLearn. And then we have 4 different editions to pick between, and this is all depending on features and functions that you have as a requirement. When we know those 4 parameters, we can actually configure a fixed monthly subscription price that covers your need. Let's try to do that live actually, because I actually have a price calculator available on our website. So if you go to clicklearn.com, going into products, click on purchasing and licensing, you will end up on our page here where our prices are available 24/7 for everyone. As I mentioned, there are 4 parameters. So today, I want to touch base a little bit about the platforms that we support in the Microsoft segments. We support finance and operations and all versions of AX. We also support Business Central and NAV. We support customer engagement and CRM. We also have the Microsoft platforms, so Microsoft 365, where it's a combination of the full Microsoft Office 365, SharePoint, Teams. Then we support the Power Platform, meaning that we can create learning instructions in Power BI and deliver it with Power Apps as well. And we also have custom applications, so any Windows or web-based applications. As an example here in the browser, ClickLearn is capable of capturing your processes. As personally, I am using customer engagement a lot, and we also have some Power Platforms embedded into it, and I like to have the Outlook or the Office suite included in my price. I will now take an example of 3 people that will need to create learning instructions, and I have 250 employees that will be consuming my learning materials. Then we now have the price for each edition. If we shortly touch base on each edition, what Basic, Essentials, and Professional and Enterprise means. Basic is the package for customers that only requires pure documentation produced in Word, PowerPoints, PDF. Essentials is when you need to have a combination of documentations and videos. Professional is when we touch base on the languages. So if you need to have your learning materials translated into 45 different languages and you want to have a live embedded avatar, then you will need your Professional edition. Enterprise is when we need to be SCORM compliant, having integrations into LMS systems, and delivering automated process testing. You now can start from a price around 400 euros if you have 250 users, up to 1,127 euro. If we convert that into US dollars, you will start around $500 up to $1,288. Each features and functions are fully described here at the bottom, so feel free to go to our website and see what all are included in each edition in the features and functions that you may require. So, what else is included with ClickLearn? We support free lifetime customer account support as long as you stay on your subscription model. So ClickLearn is not a consultancy business. ClickLearn delivers free training, free support, free educations, self-paced training portals, etc. And it's all a part of your subscription fee. We are not a consultancy business and we will not invoice for any training or educations on using ClickLearn. And I promised also I wanted shortly just to touch base about the partner model. So the partner model is very simple. What you just see, you are capable of reselling. If you are a partner, then feel free to reach out to us and I'll be happy to have a talk with you about that. You can experience ClickLearn through our website. We have on-demand, but also live webinars every week. You can request a free trial license and you can download our product sheets from our website. Otherwise, you can engage with me. I'll be happy to have a talk with you in how to become a ClickLearn partner, how you can become a ClickLearn corporate customer. I will give you access to our subscription price model that you just saw on our website. We can deliver platform sheets, partner agreements, etc. Feel free to visit our website at clicklearn.com or reach out to me at mao@clicklearn.com. I want to thank you everyone for participating today. Have a wonderful evening or wonderful morning. Thank you very much. Bye.